Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll probably know that my favorite type of announcement is a trading update, particularly if it's a profit upgrade. In my opinion, these are the most powerful types of announcements a company can release because a profit upgrade surprises the market. And when the market surprises or is surprised, the share price can do spectacular things. And on the flip side, if it's a profit downgrade, it can do unspectacular things to the downside, share price decreasing 30, 40% or so. So every single day when the market is open, I am searching for trading updates. Thankfully, through ComSec, they make it easier to find these trading updates. And on September the 25th, 2023, a company called Polynovo released a trading update. So I thought I'd do a fairly brief video on this particular trading update because even though I am not a shareholder of Polynovo, I am following the fortunes of this company quite closely because I do think this is what's definitely a high growth company. Their revenue growth is quite spectacular, if not breathtaking. I'll talk about why I said breathtaking in a second. And there's only one thing I'm searching. Well, actually, there's two things I am looking for when it comes to this company, and that is becoming profitable. The other thing I'm looking at is the valuation of this company, which I'll touch upon in a second or two. Now, Polynovo is a healthcare company. They have developed medical devices utilizing bioabsorbable polymer technology called NovoSorb. Now, one of their products is called NovoSorb BTM, which stands for Biodegradable Temporizing Matrix, which may be used to temporarily close a wound and aid the body in generating new tissue. Now, NovoSorb BTM is a man-made synthetic polymer that does not contain any biologic materials, and this is important because traumatic wounds often contain bacteria that may cause infection. Now, my one slight red flag about Polynovo, and this is not really a red flag, it's just the valuation. The market cap of Polynovo right now is around about $1 billion or just below $1 billion. Yet this company is not profitable. So the market fully expects this company to be significantly profitable in the next few years. And if they disappoint the market, then the share price and the valuation of this company could go down a fair bit. But the one thing going for Polynovo is the significant growth in revenue this company has experienced over the past 3 or 4 years. Now to the trading update, and the title of this particular trading update was Sales Accelerating is actually two words I like to hear. I really like to see revenue accelerating. That's actually a good sign moving forward. And that typically means the sales team is probably doing a good job, but also there is a demand for the product out there. So the very fact that Polynovo's sales are accelerating is a good sign for this company, and they should be excited, but maybe they are a little bit too excited. And I'll talk about a couple of comments from David Williams, the chairman. But first, some of these numbers. Really impressive growth in terms of revenue and also percentage growth. And they looked at the first 2 months of financial year 24, looked at also the US sales, world sales, Australia sales, UK sales. For example, US sales for the first 2 months of financial year 24 was $10.6 million, up 85.3% over the prior year. In addition to the US, Australia and UK outperformed with year-to-date growth of 128% and 155% respectively over the prior year. So now on to a couple of comments from David Williams. Typically, when I see any quotes from the board, the CEO, I like them to be fairly dry. Just matter of fact, don't give me any flowery language like David Williams. For instance, he mentions here, the increase in sales, albeit lumpy and off a low base, is at once breathtaking, but at the same time, more of the same of what we have seen in the last 3 years. So what is it, breathtaking or just what we have experienced or your experience in the last 3 years? It can't be the same thing. You can't be breathtaking and the same thing, just what they've been doing over the last few years. Looking forward, the future is bright. Yeah, okay, most management would think their future is bright for the companies. The 150% increase in UK and other significant geographic growth hides the new hospitals and new staff that commenced recently are yet to show their full potential. And then the last bit of his quote is, in a high growth company like Polynovo, we want shareholders to see the extraordinary growth that we as a board are seeing and not have to wait for the usual reporting cycle. This growth is price sensitive and shareholders should see it more regularly than every 6 months. I think he does have a fairly good point there. that I do like to see companies update the shareholders more often than once every 6 months. Now, the CEO won't try to pronounce his name because I'll totally butcher it. He also had a quote, and this is a really reasonable quote. In fact, his quote, her quote, is exactly what I want to see from a CEO. No flowery language, dry, matter of the fact. Also, he mentioned, or she mentioned, we are humbled to be able to provide better outcomes for patients while being cost effective for health system. So I think it's just a different of styles comparing David Williams to the CEO. So when you do look at the revenue growth for this company, it is quite impressive. Now, I wouldn't call it breathtaking or spectacular because I'm comparing it to another company called TX Pharmaceuticals. And that company has grown the revenue from like $1 million to well over $100 million in 1 quarter. That is spectacular, breathtaking revenue growth. But Polynovo should have nothing to complain about because they have grown their revenue from $14.4 million in financial year 19 to $66.5 million in financial year 23. Now, my one complaint, apart from the valuation of this company with a market cap of almost $1 billion, is even though they are growing their revenue at a pretty good rate, they're also growing their operating expenses at almost exact same rate, which means this company is no closer to becoming profitable than they were back in 2019. In fact, in this particular slide is straight from their financial year 23 presentation, which they released in August. So they lumped together revenue, operating expenses, and net profit after tax in the one slide. And you can see when you compare revenue to operating expenses, they're going up at the exact same rate, and profit or loss is almost the exact same every single year. So the one thing I want to see from Polynovo moving forward is some sort of scale. I want to see revenue increasing at a greater rate than operating expenses. And when I see that, that is the time I would become excited about this company. But again, the only other thing that's holding me back from even thinking about taking a position in this company is just the valuation. And the market knows the potential of this company because it wouldn't have a valuation of $1 billion or just under $1 billion if the market wasn't excited about the future of Polynovo. Now onto the chart for Polynovo. This goes back to late 2021. I just wanted to include the last time I did a video on this company was in January 2022 when the share price rose 25% on the back of another positive trading update, and the share price just fell. Now, the share price of Polynovo has been as low as 88 cents back in May of 2022 and as high as about $2.80 in February of this year. But the share price has moved into a downtrend. In fact, the share price has fallen from about $2.80 down to about $1.20. Nice little bounce on the back of this particular trading update. But the very fact the share price is in a downtrend does affect the share price movement when a company releases a positive announcement like this particular trading update, because many shareholders have bought in at much higher prices since the start of 2023, and they just want to get out. Because when a shareholder, and this is the sign of the times we're living in, whenever a person, an investor, buys shares in a company, they want to see the share price rise immediately. If the share price falls almost immediately, and the share price of Polynovo has been falling for about 9 months straight, they automatically assign a dog stock tag to that company, and they want to get out. Preferably, they would get out when the share price gets back up to when they bought in. But sometimes they will just try to get out when they see a rally in the share price. And I think that's exactly what happened on the 25th of September with Polynovo. We did see a little bit of selling coming in during the day, and the share price actually fell from the start of the day to the end of the day. A nice reaction from the market on the September the 26th. I'm recording this video at 4:40 p.m. and the share price was up last time I looked about 6%. So a nice little reaction from the market. But this is not a breakout because the share price has or is in a downward trend. And preferably when a company releases a trading update like this, because of how positive it might be perceived by the market, you want the share price to be at least a 6-month high, because you don't want those shareholders who bought at higher prices wanting to sell out, because those shareholders who wanted to sell out increase the supply of shares on the market. And if there's not enough demand, you will see the share price pull back. And that is what happened to Polynovo on the 25th of September. So even though this was a positive announcement, our share price is still in a downtrend. This is not a breakout. The last time the share price was this high was like 1 week ago. So what I'm looking for is at least a 6-month high, preferably more than a 1-year high in the share price when a company releases a positive announcement like this. And that's all I have for this trading update from Polynovo. I'd love to hear from shareholders out there. What do you think of this company? Trading at a markup of about $900 million. A lot of promise, a lot of potential in this company for the future. A nice trading update, but I'd just like to see this company becoming profitable, generating cash flow in their business, their operations, and becoming free cash flow positive. If they can achieve that, I think that would be a good sign moving forward for this company, because I think if they can achieve that, the growth in profit should be quite spectacular, quite breathtaking. I don't really care about growth in revenue at this point in time, because this company has shown over the last 4 years, even when they have significant growth in revenue, they have likewise significant growth in operating expenses. So I need to see a little bit of scale from this company. So just give me your thoughts about Polynovo in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.